The pandemic has laid bare a host of political divisions in the U.S., especially over how to respond to the crisis. And now Democrats and Republicans are slugging it out over mask mandates and vaccine passports. RT's Caleb Maupin looks at the latest clashes.
Joe Biden says America is going to start getting back to normal in the coming summer months. But what is that going to look like? Will normal only be for vaccinated folks while everyone else stays home? Such talk is being met with fury from Republicans who are set against it, especially when it comes from Democrats who oppose ID checks.
Considering that Democrats want to require vaccine IDs for people to conduct their basic daily activities, they now have zero grounds to object to voter ID laws. If under Democrat logic you should need an ID to enter even a grocery store, surely there wouldn't be an objection to showing an ID to legally vote.
Vaccine credentials would be a complete government overstep. Individuals in America have a personal responsibility for their health.
The governor of Florida is now promising a statewide ban.
It's completely unacceptable for either the government or the private sector to impose upon you the requirement that you show proof of vaccine to just simply be able to participate in normal society. You want the fox to guard the hen house? I mean, give me a break. I think this is something that has huge privacy implications. It is not necessary to do.
Democrats are standing their ground. Now, the first leader to propose the idea of vaccine passports was Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York State. Back at the beginning of the pandemic, he was a glowing hero in mainstream media. But since then, his image has significantly faded. But his idea of vaccine passports with QR codes that'll be scanned by businesses for admission is catching on. Madison Square Gardens is already saying it will be a requirement. And Republicans now face mainstream media ridicule for their opposition to the proposal.
And irresponsibly, they're being stupid.
Right, which is very rich coming from the party that wants 9 forms of identification before you can vote.
The right would have you believe that a vaccine passport is effectively Big Brother coming for you and your family.
Now, the White House has confirmed it is working with the private sector to develop vaccine passports. However, they insist they are not keeping a database of who is and who is not vaccinated at the federal level. So, let the political games begin. It's just like the mask mandate. Now, at this point, 16 states have either lifted their mask mandate or never had one to begin with. And now Joe Biden is urging them to reinstate it as there's a surge of cases.
I'm reiterating my call for every governor, mayor, and local leader to maintain and reinstate the mask mandate. Please, this is not politics.
Republican governors do not seem to appreciate Joe Biden's plea. In fact, the governor of Arkansas has moved up the lifting of the mask mandate by an entire day. He says the case numbers are showing a downward trend. And now we have the mainstream media pressing the White House about whether or not Joe Biden is just being ignored.
I mean, are governors sort of going their own way and ignoring you all?
I don't think we see it that way, Jeff, but I would say that one of the ways we can impact people across the country is by acknowledging this is hard.
The shenanigans are starting to sound a little bit less like they're motivated by concerns about public health and more like some classic American political squabbling, the kind that's been around long before COVID-19.
And I'm going to reflect on the recurring feeling I have of impending doom. We have so much to look forward to, so much promise and potential of where we are, and so much reason for hope. But right now, I'm scared.
The war continues. Vaccine passports, mask mandates, every new proposed measure seems to present a new opportunity for U.S. society to further polarize.
Ideally, I mean, it would be great if politicians focused on something other than creating political division, advancing special interests, and the like, but they don't. And with coronavirus, what we're seeing is that politicians are using the panic to funnel money to their corporate allies. And you see this through, plans to create required vaccinations, which of course, by necessity, bring a huge amount of money to the pharmaceutical companies that are producing those vaccinations. And so we're seeing a lot of things that look a lot more like corruption and a lot less like trying to actually provide guidance for the American people. As far as I know, there's no meaningful plan in place to go back to complete normalcy, to the pre-coronavirus type behavior. I don't see there's that a vaccine passport to go to normal places could possibly be seen as something constitutional. The United States presidency has lost the trust of the people. And they didn't do this all at once. This didn't happen because of coronavirus. They've just been lying to the American people about a lot.